When summertime is here, the temperatures always go up, and so do people's tempers. But the reality is, a guy that's no threat whatsoever, in real terms, suddenly could become a threat after the event, simply by virtue of the fact you hit him too hard, and he's not getting back up again.
Come on! You're not hitting me, bro. Come on, bro. Get out right now. Go. Girl, what is he trying to hit?
Ooh, shit. Dude.
So as you can see immediately, we got a gentleman here who's definitely falling on the aggrieved end of the scale. We don't know why, we don't know what led up to this. All we do know is he's going to have to leave this premises because the lifeguards are escorting him out. As one of them is trying to get him to go, you can see he's got that aggression, his stance, his body language, everything about it. He's like he's going to throw that punch. In the end, he throws one. Not really anything to write home about. I don't think he's going to be rocking any socks anytime soon. But this is often the case when someone's feeling so aggrieved and their anger has to go somewhere else, they're going to put it into a physical response if that's where they're at and they feel sufficiently pushed to that direction. You'll often see this when you're dealing with children that have got either learning difficulties or some other specific challenges. Their lack of ability to communicate freely will lead to outbursts of temper and violence, biting, clawing, kicking, occasionally even self-harm. In this instance, we've got this guy that's trying to make his point clear, trying to make sure how angry he is received, and he's got no other way that he can communicate this except with some rather ineffectual punches. The last time I saw punches that were this weak, I was playing Rock'em Sock'em with my 8-year-old. He won. Disappointing, I know. As he throws his punch on the first guy, you can clearly see he is no threat whatsoever. A little bit of a slip, a little bit of a weave, he's offline, and he just doesn't want to deal with this individual anymore. The smart thing is then done in that another party comes in and says, hey, you've got to leave, you've got to go. This is sensible because as often as not, when there's a conflict between one party and another party, the presence of a third can introduce a calming influence, especially if we don't know what the cause of the aggravation was in the first place. So the introduction of a second party to come in is a solid tactic. Police use this all the time, bouncers will use this all the time. As long as that other person feels they're being heard, usually the problem can be pushed away before it gets any worse. Usually. In this instance, we can see that didn't happen. He decided that, no, I'm going to show you exactly how aggrieved I am on you as well, and he started swinging. Well, I say swinging, it was more sort of drifting in the breeze. But those punches did go out there, and they did land. What happens next is one of those issues that will probably be discussed, dissected, and talked about in the comments section for weeks and months to come. This is a good thing and we encourage it. But let's take a look in very, very slow motion at what went down. The punches went in, they landed, pip, pop, he had one back. Now, is this understandable? Yes. Someone just came up to you and hit you twice in the face. Punches aren't hard, but the fact is he's entered into that sphere and he's used physical violence towards you. The response back was just one shot. Boom. Put him down hard. This is where it gets tricky though. Just because someone has engaged in physical violence towards you doesn't automatically give you the right to put violence back on them. You have the right to protect yourself, you have the right to defend yourself, but it must be reasonable and necessary if we're going to avoid any sticky legal ramifications that come out at the end of it. To put it another way, if a 6-year-old comes up to me swinging punches, I'm not going to unleash a right hand on them. Because although they're attacking me, although they're threatening me, those punches are not going to do any damage or cause me any ill will. A little bit of a turnaround, pick up by the shorts, carry away, give them back to the parents, whatever it is you're going to be dealing with it. This is very, very similar. Clearly, this is not a 6-year-old. It's a grown-ass man. And it's a grown-ass man that should really know better than swinging on 2 in-shape lifeguards that are asking him to leave. But it still doesn't mean he needs to eat a short one. And it doesn't mean he needs to go on a short nap. And when we follow the potential, the consequences here, it doesn't mean there's the risk of him losing his life. I need to enter into my own sphere. If I hit you, you fall down, you bang your head, No matter how well-intentioned that initial punch would be, no matter how well-placed I think I am, I'm probably looking at a manslaughter charge from that because it wasn't necessary. We keep coming back to this point over and over again in these reality check videos. And the interesting thing is, as many people agree with me, there's just as many disagree. This isn't to say that the ones that disagree are wrong, although I think you are. It's more to say that this is a duality of circumstances that you can't just split down the middle and say yes or no. The law is there to give us guidelines, and they're argued about in court cases, in police interview rooms, and in books and lectures for years to come. The law is to give us the framework and the guidelines of what we can do. We have to provide the context, the common sense, and the circumstances that will then either support ourselves under law or condemn us under the same thing. Someone swinging weak and effectual punches at me like that is going to elicit a physical response. I'm not going to lie. I don't think my physical response is going to be popping them one though. It's probably going to be grabbing a hold of them, marching them out, and tossing them out through the gate. It might be an arm up the back with a restraining hold. It might be a grip and a bear hug and just lifting them, telling them to calm down and not be so stupid. Literally the way I would deal with a child. I'm not judging the guy for what his responses are. I don't know his background. I don't know his training. I don't even know what his roles and responsibilities are. However, we're living in an age where a security guard got fired for pulling a tinfoil strip off the back of someone's car that was stealing $500 worth of laundry products, because that was deemed too much beyond the capacity and the role that he was hired to do. These lifeguards are hired to make sure no one drowns in the pool. They're not hired to put someone in the pool so they can drown and fish them out again, which could have been a consequence of what went on here. I'm not judging them. I'm not saying they're even wrong for doing it. I'm saying I don't think they thought as this action was taken. That lifeguard was hit and he wanted to hit back. There was disrespect, probably a little bit of bruised ego in there, and he was pissed off at this guy. I don't blame him for this. I really don't. Hell, I probably would have done similar myself a few years ago. As the years have gone on though, I've realized that my responses are as often as not a reflection of me. If I want to project this image of this big tough man that you don't mess with, that's the kind of response you'll get from me. If, however, I want him to leave and I want to keep my job and I want to go home at the end of the day to my family with no consequences, that isn't the action I'm going to take. There's no right or wrong in my judgment on this. There's just my perceptions of things, my values, and my priorities. What's important is that you establish your values and your priorities. If you're willing to stand by them, good to go. But the reality is, a guy that's no threat whatsoever, in real terms, suddenly could become a threat after the event, simply by virtue of the fact you hit him too hard and he's not getting back up again. In circumstances where we're not expecting conflict, our responses often become much more viscerally ingrained as to who we are. If I'm going into a danger zone, I know there's going to be danger. If I'm swimming by the pool, I'm not expecting it. We need to be ready at all times to put that pause in, whether it's in a fight, whether it's in a discussion, or just driving our cars. That's what gets us through, and that's what helps us get the right responses. Thanks as always for joining us this week, guys. And a big announcement coming up soon. Launching soon, we have Reality Check, the video training course. These are the insights that I will offer you. The training courses, the modules, and all the pieces that were put together to enable me to be in a situation where I can offer my insights and my opinions. Many people have asked if they can train with me, and it's not possible if we go all the way around the world as frequently as I'd like. It is, however, possible for me to be right on your laptops or on your DVDs, seeing and showing you what I think will be beneficial for you in your life, your martial arts career, and helping you live a healthy, happy existence. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you next time.
What's up, guys? We are filming our next digital seminar with Jay Cooper. It's called Reality Check. Jay, tell us a little bit about what your Reality Check is.
A lot of you have asked me about training and where you can learn more about how we stay in the moment, we keep that ego in check, and we make sure that we take a pause so our responses are the correct ones. That's what this course is going to deliver to you. It's not going to teach you how to punch and kick. It's not going to teach you a martial art. Hell, it's not even going to give you scenarios. What it's going to enable you to do is realize who you are, who the enemy is, and make those responses and reactions the correct ones at the time so you don't end up suffering afterwards. There's no point in winning the battle and losing the war, and that's the central thing.
And we are loving this because we've been putting out these videos on Facebook, and let's just say that Facebook, YouTube don't necessarily like the content. It's a bit too graphic. So we are looking forward to bringing you a high quality course with that too hot for TV information.